Myths surrounding SRS. There are several myths and misconceptions surrounding gender reassignment surgery, or bottom surgery, or SRS as many people call it, which cause substantial harm to the trans community. When a transgender person who is contemplating undergoing this surgery is met with this barrage of mostly negative misinformation, it may make them anxious or even make them reconsider their decision. The internet can sometimes do more harm than good when you look up complex topics, thanks to the omnipresent conflicting information that tends to add to confusion instead of clarifying ambiguity. This article hopes to bust some of the most common myths and misconceptions surrounding bottom surgery to minimize the apprehension you may be feeling after a long day of research on this topic. Let's delve into them right away. 1. It's an open wound. Let's get one thing straight. This surgery will not leave an open wound that will never heal. Moreover, it is also untrue that you have to keep dilating it every day forever. Initially, right after the surgery, there will be an incision. However, like all open wounds, it eventually heals. Secondly, dilation, or inserting a dilator to stretch the vaginal canal and keep it open, is not something you'll have to do forever. Think of it like a pierced ear in the initial stages. While in the first months, you'll have to keep your earrings on all the time. Eventually, you can go several months without them and the holes still won't close up. After the reassignment surgery, for the first 3 months, it is recommended to dilate thrice a day, which can be overwhelming. But after a year, this number falls to once or twice a week. Eventually, the requirement falls even further. The frequency would also vary based on your sexual activity. 2. It looks fake. This is another very common misconception in the trans community. The doctors are experts at what they do, and they do everything in their capacity to make it look authentic. Moreover, remember there is no one particular look down there. Every vagina does not look the same. 3. It feels fake and alien. This is often heard every time the topic of reassignment surgery comes up. Skeptical people claim that after the surgery, the changes in your body may feel strange and alien. Now, that may be true for certain people. However, it is still your body. It is likely that initially you may feel the difference, but eventually you will get used to the change and connect more with it. 4. You will not feel things down there. Another myth that we've encountered is that following the surgery, you won't be able to feel anything down there. Needless to say, this is untrue. It is a part of you, and you will feel all kinds of sensations there, including pain and pleasure. Initially, right after the surgery, the area may feel numb. However, that is because you are put on a lot of medication for pain and nerve endings are still undergoing the process of finding each other. But the effects of the medication will wear off soon enough and you will start feeling things down there. 5. Your orgasms will not feel as strong. This myth is often passed around with utmost confidence, but it is just not true. It is a part of your body that can feel all kinds of sensations, including pleasure. 70 to 84% of trans women report being able to orgasm after surgery. Moreover, there is another misconception floating around that trans women cannot self-lubricate during sexual activity. While this holds true for some women, many can and in fact do self-lubricate. Whether you can do so depends on the technician or the surgeon you go to and the techniques they employ. Modern medicine has made it possible for trans women to self-lubricate. 6. It is shallow. There are claims that trans women cannot engage in sexual activity as full depth is not created through the surgery. This is also untrue. Post-surgery, the depth is typically 15 centimeters, so you can engage in sexual activity once your body recovers from the surgery. 7. Pregnancy and periods. We have personally found articles claiming that after surgery, you will get your period and it is possible to get pregnant. Unfortunately, this is far from the truth, because the fact is that the surgery does not create parts crucial for these biological processes, such as the uterus and ovaries. This particular myth gets people's hopes up about bearing their own child, which is unfortunate. This is why we thought it was absolutely necessary to bust this myth. 8. Surgery curbs sexual interest. The bottom surgery will not impact your sexual desires in any manner. While it is true that sexual activity will not be possible right after the surgery, it may not even interest you at this point because your body is still healing. This hurdle is short-lived. For so many trans women, sexual activity gets better following the surgery, as they feel more connected with themselves and their bodies following transition. 9. you will regret undergoing surgery. While this statement cannot be generalized with either side of the argument because every person is different, the fact is that a very small percentage of trans women have regretted SRS according to studies. Typically, the regrets are associated with botched surgeries, which is completely understandable. 10. SRS will resolve all problems. A large proportion of trans women believe that undergoing bottom surgery will resolve all of their issues with transition as well as gender dysphoria. Alas, it's a myth. As far as your trans identity is concerned, you need to work proactively to embrace it, and no amount of surgeries can resolve that. While a large portion of gender dysphoria might disappear after the surgery, you might still find there is a long way to go. 11. Transitioning only includes surgery. Transitioning is a long-drawn process and is not as simple as waking up one day, getting a surgery, and being all done. Typically, people who have undergone transition have lived as their preferred gender for multiple years on hormones and engaged in extensive conversations with a trained, professional therapist before taking the final step of surgery. Please note that hormones can have a significant impact on your mental and emotional states. So these are some of the myths surrounding gender reassignment surgery or bottom surgery. We haven't addressed all of the myths because that is a Pandora's box thanks to social media. However, these are some of the most harmful misconceptions for those contemplating surgery. Remember that surgery is often a positive step for those looking to transition, so do not let those myths bog you down. Good luck!